Book 7, Working with Others. Book 7, Chapter 1, Asking Permission. Now that we've learned some of the tools for psychic work, it's very common for people to want to begin practicing with others right away. I mean, what's the point in having such a fun new skill if we can't play with it and share it with others? Trust me, I get it. But it's really important to make sure that you are very careful working with other people and their energy. We'll be going over working with others later in this book, but just in case you got the urge to rush forward with some of the things that you learned by trying them on unsuspecting friends or loved ones, I thought it might be prudent to put this note in the book earlier rather than later. The most important thing to remember when working with others is obtaining their permission. It is absolutely essential to get permission from any person that you would like to do energy work with or on. The difference between light work and dark work is permission and intention. Lightworkers only ever do work with permission, either explicitly given or given on a soul level. While you're still inexperienced, I recommend making sure it's always permission that's explicitly stated out loud. Some ways to easily get this pesky job out of the way is any of the following statements. Is it okay if I do energy work with you today? Do I have your permission to ask questions of the light consciousness on your behalf? Would you like me to do a reading on you today? I sometimes intuitively pick up on energy and underlying meanings behind what people say or feel. Is that okay with you? The last statement, or some variation of it, will usually be brought up in my initial consult with patients to help clear the air, get consent, and allow them to ask any questions they may have. If the person is not comfortable with it, which surprisingly has only happened a handful of times, I do not dig into those areas I get feelings about. I cannot turn off the sense that I get about what they say, but I can choose not to use the information. If I were to use that information to quote-unquote help them against their wishes, I would be doing so to fulfill my own ego, which is a dark purpose, and would not be to help them heal, which is a light purpose. Ultimately, people heal themselves. We fill in gaps in the path and help point them in the right direction, but they're the ones that actually walk the path. Everyone needs to walk it at their own pace and in their own way, and we must respect that journey. Please note that permission can be withdrawn at any time for any reason, and at that point the treatment or reading must immediately stop. Much like with sexual activity, it doesn't matter how far things have gone or how much they wanted it to begin with. If they change their mind at any point, the session is immediately over. You don't have to run from the room or anything, but you need to stop any energy exchange and give the person the option to either discuss the events openly with you or simply leave the space if they wish. In that moment, we are there for them, and it's 100% about their needs. We do our emotional processing about the exchange later, on our own time. Sometimes energy readings or treatments can be very intense, and not everyone is ready to process it all in the moment. So be prepared to discuss it with them at the end or even days later when they're ready. The healing doesn't just occur in the moment, it continues long afterwards. There's no timeline on healing. The pitfalls of working with other humans. There is nothing more fulfilling than working with others to help them on their healing journey. It's a soul calling like few others with tangible, visible outcomes and great positive results. That being said, working with other people can sometimes be difficult and frustrating, especially if you're not confident in your abilities just yet. Keeping the faith. One time, early into my psychic opening, I did a reading for a woman I had done healing work with before. I told her that I saw a man in full fishing gear, like the hat, the khaki vest, and so on, standing in a boat and pointing to the seat and smiling. I described him, and she told me it was her deceased father. I kept telling her he was pointing to the seat in his boat over and over while smiling, and I didn't know what that would mean. I asked her if it meant anything to her, and she said no. I repeated the whole scene again in detail in case I'd missed something the first time around, and she looked at me very confused and said she had no idea. We ended the session with both of us confused and feeling let down. She wasn't sure she got what she needed from the session, and I had lost a bit of confidence in my psychic ability. What if I was just making stuff up? What does it mean if things come through so clearly but are meaningless to the person I'm trying to help? After journaling about it, I decided I would be a bit less forthcoming with my visions in future sessions, both to avoid embarrassment, but also to avoid feeling this way again, and I went to bed. The next morning, I woke up to a voicemail from my patient who explained through choking tears about how she can't believe she'd been so stupid. She was falling asleep the night before and remembered that she had purchased her father a new seat for his fishing boat right before he died, but that he never got to use it. We later agreed that he was trying to tell her that he was using it now and loving it. I've also had patients who didn't come back for several years after their first appointment. In each case, I had long decided that my craziness had alienated them for good. One patient did exactly that, 3 years after her initial appointment. I like how she described it to me when she came back. She said, "I wasn't ready then. You planted a seed and it's taken this long to germinate. I'm ready now." I'm sharing these stories with you because the day will come for you at least once where you'll be questioning your sanity and your abilities because of the conviction of your client or friend telling you that they have no idea what you're talking about, or worse yet, just keeping quiet and disappearing afterwards. The first few times are hard. Over time, and with experiences like the ones I mentioned, it gets easier to be patient and to let the answers unravel for them when it's time. Now I just say, if it doesn't make sense now, don't worry about it. The answer will probably come to you later. Part of this work is having faith that whatever comes through is meant to come through at the time it's presented, and in some way that we may not understand right now, it will help the receiver's healing and growth. It's our job to pass along the message we are given when we are given it. We're just the messengers. Don't get led. This brings me to another really good point. Be careful about letting yourself be led by your client. People are inherently helpful. Generally, they come to a psychic looking for particular answers. They have questions, but they also have ideas about what and who will come through. Because of this, people will often give you extra tidbits of information or try to make what you say fit into what they think it should fit instead of just taking your reading at face value. Because we don't want to argue with the person or question their experience, and a little bit because we want to be proven right, oh, that sneaky ego, it's tempting to go along with their twists and bends of the information. I cannot stress how important it is not to do this. The information comes through when and how it comes through for a reason. We don't control what we get, and we have to be careful not to alter it. I have had endless experiences where I describe a person or place that I'm seeing, and my client will start trying to describe another thing back to me. It's hard enough to be sure of a vision without throwing in external information that may taint our ability to confirm if what we're seeing is what we think we're seeing. Because of this, I always stop people from saying anything further during a reading and ask them to only confirm or deny things that I say. I carefully tell them it's so we can be sure that it's a vision and not the product of my imagination, since those two areas are so close together, at least in my head. It's happened many times that after I stop them from going on and then re-describe the person or place I'm seeing, I will have been describing someone else's room in the house, or their room in a previous home, or it's their great-grandma, not their grandma, and so on. If I had let them sway my mind to what they thought I was seeing at first, then the reading would have been totally wrong from that point onwards. It will be one of the hardest things that you'll do in readings, but you have to stand your ground and stick to saying what you're actually seeing, no matter the temptation to go along to get along. We are given messages to pass on as they are given, not to build our ego or make us look good or convincing. I'll just apologize now for any future times you'll have when someone will look at you confused and clueless by the end of a reading, and you'll have to pet your damaged ego and pray that the messages make sense to them later. If my experience is anything to go on, it eventually will. Practical exercise, pendulum chakra rebalancing. Pendulum chakra rebalancing is one of the easiest methods of stepping into working with others when you don't have any formal training in hands-on energy work. Once you've gotten the hang of basic pendulum use, you can try it on a practice partner. I just request that if you don't have any experience with healing others, please, please, please respect the energy and take it slowly. Don't use this as a party trick or jump right in without going through the proper steps. The power of your energy work will be directly determined by the respect you give it. With power comes responsibility. Use it wisely. Getting prepared and ready. Make sure that you have as much privacy as your practice partner desires. Sometimes emotions or private personal information can come up during a chakra rebalancing, and you always want to make sure you are protecting their energy and their best interests. Before you even ask permission from your practice partner, make sure you and your space are ready. First and foremost, it is essential that you have cleansed, grounded, and shielded yourself and your space. The last thing we want is for you to pick up junk energy off of them or pass any of your junk on to them. Return to the earlier chapters on cleansing and protection if you need to refresh and get yourself ready. When you and your space are ready, ask permission. Once you're prepared, the second step is to ask permission before working on someone else's energy. Make sure that they have a place to lay comfortably and that you can easily move along the length of their body without straining yourself. Having them lay on a treatment table, bed, the floor, or a couch are all great options. Connect to your pendulum in their energy. Before we can get into the fun of rebalancing the chakras, we must first discover the pendulum's language when interacting with the energy field of our practice partner. I recommend starting in an area that isn't one of the main 7 chakras. See the chakra chapter for more information. I usually suggest starting at their feet. Hold your pendulum at least a few inches, 5 to 10 centimeters, and a maximum of 2 feet, 60 centimeters, above their feet, as though their feet take the place of your open hand beneath the pendulum. You do not need to hold your hand underneath, as their body and energy field would be acting as that reading base. Now ask the following of your pendulum as you pay attention to the types of swing. Stop. Show me chakra in balance. Show me a chakra out of balance. And for a fun extra step to make it more advanced, you can say, show me a chakra in excess, or show me a blocked chakra. Now you have your baseline responses. Make note of each swing type so you can tell the difference between a chakra in balance and one that is out of balance during the session. When you're confident in which swing means what, you can begin your chakra rebalancing. Pendulum chakra reading and treatment. Move the pendulum over the root chakra, just below the genitals or tailbone, and wait to see what type of swing occurs. If the chakra is in balance, you can move up to the sacral chakra and so on up to the crown chakra. See the chakra chapter for more locations and functions of the chakras. If the chakra is out of balance, simply hold the pendulum in place with the intention of bringing the chakra into balance. When the chakra shifts into balance, the pendulum swing will change from the out of balance swing to the in balance swing. When the chakra you are working on comes into balance, you can move on to the next chakra as described above. Sometimes the pendulum will swing violently in the imbalance swing type, such as very large and fast circles. This can actually represent a chakra in excess. Treat this as a chakra out of balance and wait for the swing to return to a normal rate and size. Closing and follow-up instructions. When you've finished all of the chakras, take some time to review the ones that were out of balance with your partner. Discuss what you noticed and what that might represent for their health and healing. The chakra meaning chart from the chakra chapter can help to guide your discussion. Since this is the audiobook, you can find a copy online on our website at www.findingyourgifts.ca. See if any of your observations resonate with your partner and make sense from their perspective. Be sure to thank your partner at the end and to thank your guides and the pendulum for their assistance before finishing. Ask your practice partner to drink plenty of water, eat healthfully, and avoid drugs and alcohol for a few days following treatment to maximize their results. If you can, it's also really helpful to guide your practice partner through grounding and shielding themselves as well to ensure that you leave them safe and healthy at the end of your work. Cleansing afterwards. Once you've left your partner, be sure to once again clean yourself well, washing your hands in water while repeating your mantra or using any other cleansing method that works for you. We want to be sure to remove any energy you may have picked up from your partner in the rebalancing process. Cleanse your space and return everything to the way that you found it. Troubleshooting. But I don't have a practice partner right now. I hear ya. It's tough to get pets to sit still long enough to make this technique possible, and not all of us have a person kicking around who is available when we are, or who is open to trying this stuff. You can, of course, do this exercise on yourself. It's just a bit difficult to see how the pendulum swings over your third eye and crown chakra, because when you move your head to look, you often turn a different chakra into the pendulum zone. Taking quick peeks or using a mirror can overcome this problem. And hey, when treating yourself, you can skip the permission part altogether. My pendulum isn't moving at all. It goes still or vibrates in place. This sometimes happens if your pendulum isn't in alignment with the energy of your work at that time. Try repeating the cleansing and bonding process with your pendulum and then see if it will work when used over your other hand. Then, once again, try to use it on your practice partner. Still not working? Your pendulum doesn't like the energy of your practice partner or the combination of your two energies. Sorry, try another pendulum to complete the treatment. I want to keep playing with this stuff, I love it! Unfortunately, usually the chakra rebalance will hold for at least a few hours and up to a few weeks depending on how much stress your practice partner is under, so repeating the session right away won't work. But if you still have your practice partner around and willing, and you want to keep going with your partner work, then read on to the next section for more fun things you can try. Practical exercise: sensing energy in the body. One fun activity that you can easily add on to the pendulum chakra rebalancing exercise is to try sensing energy in the body. If you want a fun twist, using a fresh partner, or the next time you do the pendulum rebalancing exercise, you can try sensing your partner before and after your pendulum work to see if you can feel a difference. If you're not continuing from the pendulum chakra rebalancing exercise, then I'd recommend reading over the preparation steps as they will be the same for this exercise as well. Ground, cleanse, shield, cleanse and protect the space, prepare your practice partner, ask permission before you begin. Because you will be making physical contact with the person in this exercise, I recommend double checking your partner's permission and consent before beginning. When I'm going to do hands-on work with someone, I say something like, "Is it okay if I touch you?" And if they say yes, then I say, "Is there anywhere that you don't like to be touched?" You can come up with your own wording, but make sure that your practice partner has agreed to you sensing their energy and to being touched before you begin. Caution: be extra careful in this exercise to only sense your partner's energy without trying to fix or heal anything. It's important not to provide treatment if you are not yet trained in gathering energy from a higher source. If you try to heal someone using your own energy, you can transfer over your own imbalances and negative energy to them in the process and cause a bigger problem than the one you're trying to fix. Over, not through. Before we go on with how to proceed with the sensing exercise, I want to make sure to double check that you're grounded, shielded, and protected. Making physical contact with a person makes you very vulnerable to their energy, so it's really important to make sure that you're safe first. Once you're sure you're well shielded, take a moment to set the intention that no energy shall pass from your practice partner into you, and no energy shall pass from you into them. This is not an energy treatment, and I don't want you passing any energy back and forth at this time. The purpose of this exercise is just to see what you can sense from the other person. To make sure that you don't pick up any unwanted energy during exercises like this, you can allow the energy to run over your shield, but not through your body. Think of it like water running across the skin of your arm. You can feel the motion and whether it's hot or cold, but it doesn't make you hot or cold. Compare that to drinking the water and allowing it to wash through you. The sensations will be more intense and easy to feel, but they are also affecting the core of your body. When sensing other people's energy, allow it to wash over you, not through you. Sensing energy in the body. Now that we've made sure to get consent and set up a safe space, let's have some fun sensing energy. With your practice partner lying comfortably, center your energy and close your eyes. Send your focus inwards and find the blank state of your body. Feel how it feels to be you in this moment. Are you having any body sensations? Are you feeling any emotions? Really take stock of your blank state so you can feel any differences that come from connecting to the energy of your practice partner. When you're confident that you will be aware of any shifts from this baseline state, then you can open your eyes and begin sensing their energy. There are a few different ways that you can go about this. Feel free to try one or all, depending on the patience and comfort of your practice partner. Number 1, hand scan. One of the easiest scan methods is to hover your hands above your practice partner and slowly move along the length of their body to see if you can pick up any changes in the energy. This is a great place to start to feel if any areas draw your attention. Then you can do a deeper scan in that area. 2. Chakra scan. When you're new to sensing, it can be easier to focus on specific body locations to get a more specific reading. Holding your hands on or over the chakra is a great way to get a feel for the energy there. Only hover over the root chakra, please. No inappropriate touching. Body scan. Start at the head or the feet and gently lay your hands wherever you feel called to without being inappropriate. As you slowly work your way down the body, if you feel stronger sensations in certain areas, linger there to see if you can pick up any further information. Mind scan. If you're feeling comfortable and confident in the other methods of scanning and you'd like more of a challenge, try the mind scan. In this technique, you keep your hands to yourself and simply scan along your practice partner's body with eyes open or closed to see if you can pick up on any energy without using your hands or actually touching them. The most common sensations or experiences people have during this exercise are the following: heat or tingling in the hands, visions of colors or full visions, seeing physical imbalances in the body sensations that correspond to similar sensations in your practice partner. This can be an empathetic experience of their body, or it can be a physical sensation of an energetic or emotional imbalance. Emotions that come up while your hands are in a particular location, and this can represent trapped emotion. And some people experience full visions or messages during this experience. If you have this type of information coming through, please check with your practice partner before you share your messages. I'd like to ask, is there anything that you don't want to know if I get extra information during the reading? You can't unsay things, so make sure that you check in before you tell them about things they may not want to hear. Please don't feel limited to those experiences listed. You can't feel the energy wrong. Maybe you had an entirely different experience or no sensation changes at all. That's perfect too. Everything happens as it's meant to. The trick is just to learn what each different sensation means to you. We each develop our own personal psychic language, and every time we practice, it helps us understand a little more of what we sense in the future. If you sense nothing at all, then you're probably not meant to do hands-on sensing at this time. It's not a failure, it's just not part of your path right now. You can always try again soon. If you did receive information and your practice partner is comfortable hearing about it, you can discuss your findings with them and see if they can corroborate what you felt. When you've finished with your sensing exercise, thank your practice partner, your guides, and any other supporting energies, and then take some time to cleanse your energy and to cleanse your space as well. Be sure to return everything to the way that you found it. Healing with energy. Before we begin that journey, I would like to make it clear that whatever you do, do not try to use the white light or love methods that we've used for cleansing objects or living things. Without further training in light energy healing, this method can involve a transfer of your own energy along with the light or love. So when you're sending all of that positive energy over to your practice partner, you are also sending your neck pain, headaches, foot pain, emotional trauma, and so on. You can see how this isn't exactly what the poor person signed up for. If you wish to continue with hands-on healing and the adding of energy to living things for rejuvenation and healing, then I recommend getting additional training in a hands-on healing method of your choosing. Some ideas of hands-on healing methods are Reiki. There's several subtypes such as Usui Reiki, Celtic Reiki, Fairy Reiki, Crystal Reiki, and so on. Healing touch, quantum touch, polarity therapy, shiatsu, hands of light or the Brennan healing science, pranic healing, theta healing, crystal healing, longevitology, and the wonder method. Please note that many of these are trademarked names. You cannot use them without being trained in the appropriate way. This is not a complete list, but can help you begin your search into whatever healing practice calls to you. Until you have additional training or experience to ensure that you are transferring only source energy and not anything from self, then I would ask that you limit yourself to scanning the energy fields of other living things, and maybe removing unwanted energy if you feel called to do so. As with most things in life, it's better to be safe than sorry. Practical exercise, energy ball. It's common for one person in each class to be getting frustrated with the hands-on exercise at some point in that class. I'm sure there will be some of you out there that just don't connect with any of the tools that I've written about so far. Maybe you just can't clear the gut space yet, or maybe none of them resonate or feel like part of your path. That's all fine. Don't worry. I find that people who prefer more tangible experiences with energy will enjoy either the pendulum exercises or creating an energy ball. Most people are able to feel sensations during the energy ball exercise. To begin, you can start by briskly rubbing your palms together in front of you. The friction helps to build up energy in your hands and also stimulates the nerves in your palms to become more sensitive and tingly. This may help you to feel the sensations more clearly, but it isn't absolutely necessary. Feel free to leave out this step if it doesn't appeal to you. When you feel ready, begin to slowly pull your palms apart until there is at least 4 inches, 10 centimeters between your hands. Very gently and slowly feather or float your palms towards one another again until you feel a subtle resistance. It will feel like very faint magnets repelling. This is the sensation of your energy ball. Focus your intention on stretching and expanding the energy ball outwards, pulling it into a bigger form with your hands, and then gently pressing it inwards to feel its form. When you're comfortable that you can feel your energy ball, stretch it to the size of a beach ball, and then compress it down to a grapefruit. Continue to play with it, getting the feel for the temperature, texture, color, and feeling of your energy ball. If you have any difficulty feeling the energy, rub your palms together briskly, and as you pull them apart, visualize a flow of energy forming a ball between your hands. Move very slowly and gently and focus on the sensations in each of your palms. You can also try closing your eyes to help you focus on the physical sensations. Adding love. When you have a good feel for the sensation of your energy ball, hold it in between your hands and focus your intention on your heart chakra. Think of someone or something that you love very much and gather that feeling of love into the center of your chest. When you feel ready, shine the love feeling out of your heart chakra or out of your palms and into your energy ball. Begin to play with your energy ball again to see if the sensation, temperature, texture, color, or feeling have changed. Stretch the ball large and compact it back down. When you have a good sense of the change in your ball, if any, then gently press the ball of love back into the center of your chest. Follow-up questions. What did your ball feel like initially? Did it have color, temperature, texture, or emotion? What did your ball feel like after you added love? Was there a change? What did it feel like when you returned the love ball to your chest? As a final note, I just want to repeat myself once again and ask that you never pass your energy ball to another person. It's a nice thought to send someone a ball of love, but it's never just love in there, and it isn't energy that's meant to be given away. We never want to pass on our own internal energy to someone else. It costs us that personal use energy, and it passes on all of our unhealthy imbalances over to that other person. You'll be sending your headache and back pain over in a nice pocket of love. Not exactly a healing idea.